Hello, everyone. I am trying out SCMBC Oro today. It is a frigid cold day. Holy cow. But hopefully that means this beautiful groom track in front of me stays nice and firm. I think I'm the first set of tracks, at least fat bike tracks, since the grooming happened. I don't see any tire tracks. I see footprints. Right now I'm on the creek side, so Oro Creeks. I think they have creeks and Strachan groomed, but based on the Instagram post, it sounded like Strachan was not quite as nice. So we'll see. When I drove by it to the parking lot, the path into Strachan looked pretty good. So we're getting to be pretty lucky in Southern Ontario or around the GTA for fat biking. There's a lot of trail systems now that are offering groomed trails, either mechanically or manually groomed. A lot more options today as compared to when I first started fat biking. And fat biking is so dependent on the conditions, and it requires a little bit of work to see what trails are running good and what trails what trails are not. And so luckily there's a lot of ways of checking trail conditions too, so that you don't waste your time going out driving to a location and then having a terrible ride. This ride is turning a little more, well, it's turning into a little more work than I was hoping, because there is fresh snow on top of the groomed track. We've had so much snow this year that it's been really hard for the different grooming crews and volunteers to keep on top of things. But, you know, thank you to everyone out there doing the grooming and letting us bikers have a place to ride. everything's climbable so far here, so it's okay, but it's not going to be a fast day. Not going in for any Strava PRs today for sure. Ooh. Got into something soft there. Creeks was groomed, but the track had not set, so it was soft. I'm now on Strachan, which I don't think is going to be much better, but we'll see. I was up north this weekend, so getting here wasn't that difficult for me, but yeah, this is my point on checking trail conditions. We have a lot of options now. You know, in the east we have Durham and Millbrook, kind of central. There's, I don't know if I would consider this central, but Jefferson Forest. Then there's a little bit further west, Mono, Palgrave. North has MOC, Oro. I mean, technically you can get into, there's some riding at Copeland. Hardwood, I think, has riding now. And then west, Hafta, of course, gotta say Hafta. This is actually not bad. Yeah, Hafta, Guelph Lake, Hydrocut grooms a little bit now, Pewslinch. So there might be more I'm missing. If there's other groomed fat bike trails that I'm missing, leave it in the comments. But these are all the places I tend to try and get to or go to in a fat bike season, because I like riding different places. So the question is, where do you go on a given weekend? How do I choose where I'm going to go? And sometimes my choice is based on where I want to ride, not necessarily where I should ride. Today is probably a good example of that. I am kind of lucky where I live in Caledon, in that, you know, an hour east I can get to Durham or Jefferson Forest, east for me anyway. An hour north, within an hour north, or an hour, it's an hour and 15 minutes north, I can get to MOC and this place, Oro, and Copeland, although I haven't ridden Copeland yet. Whoa. Yeah, it's soft when you go off track. Anyway, an hour west, within an hour west, I have Hafta, Guelph Lake. A little over an hour, I can get to Hydrocut and Pewslinch. And then, kind of more local to me, Palgrave and Mono. So, I monitor the trail conditions at all these places. And some of them, like Mono, and Palgrave have Strava groups that post trail conditions. And so I'm subscribed to those groups and I check out what people are saying. Others like SCMBC Tracks, MOC, Durham, all have winter trail conditions posted on Instagram. So I follow those. And then I also look at Trail Forks on the website, and there, some places like HAFTA don't have, at least I don't think they have, any kind of social media posting of trail conditions. But I often do look at Trail Forks and say, okay, well, how many people have been riding it lately by looking at ride logs? And then when I'm looking at that, or I use Trail Forks often even to supplement some of the social media posts. I should have done that. Well, I did kind of do that today for SCMBC Oro. The social media post was that it had been groomed, but that it needed traffic and snowshoes or fat bikes would be good. I checked the Trail Forks app. When I looked at Trail Forks yesterday, the last ride here was last weekend. This is Saturday morning now, so that's an indication of, you know, potentially not the greatest trail conditions. And I rolled the dice and hey, I'm out. This beats riding Zwift indoors, but I was hoping for a fast, flowy ride, especially in creeks, and I'm definitely not getting that today. The thing about the social media posts and stuff is not only does it tell you where to ride, usually it tells you where not to ride. So places like Guelph Lake, MOC, Durham, they'll all post comments about, you know, if there's fresh snow that needs to be groomed, or if it's soft. You know, when we go into one of our many kind of thaws, they'll say, you know, stay off the trails, so on and so forth. And that's quite helpful. What do we got going here? Ooh. Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to crash going down this. Oh, this is the fastest I've gotten to go all day. I didn't know there was a corner though. Trail conditions are not ideal today. What better way to upload a ride talking about the importance of checking trail conditions and how I do it than delivering that message during a ride that I really shouldn't have come to. Well, look at the track though. Oh my God. So cool. Slow motion. Oh. Shit. I stepped down and my leg went past the knee in the snow. Oh. I even got my tire track. Looks like a profile of a rider. The conditions aren't great, but I'm still having fun. I've been fat biking for a long time. I've been fat biking for probably over 10 years. And in the early going, SCMBC Oro was one of the few places that got groomed regularly. And it used to be such a treat. I shouldn't say used to be. I'm not saying it's not anymore. But back then it was like such a destination to get to for fat biking. Oh goodness me. Oh god, I'm gonna go down again. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Such a slow ride today. Whoa. Oh, here I go again. What I was trying to say was, this was one of kind of like the original places that had really nice groomed trails, and it was such an important destination ride. We would make sure we came here at least once a season in fat bike season. Now there's just so much more variety available, but there's still such good trails when the conditions are good. I might have to come back another ride later this season. Watch out for trail reports and stuff and come back and ride them like I remember them. Well, I'm back on the creek side heading towards my car. Perfect example ride of how not every ride fat biking is perfect conditions. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and today I kind of lost. These are my tire tracks, so it's not like anyone else has been on these trails by the looks of things. Anyway, thank you, Boo, for keeping me safe. We'll see if I upload this. Have to see how the ride turns out, but check your trail conditions before going out and riding. Don't make the same mistake I made today. All right. I will see you guys out there.